everybody, and welcome to Off the Rack. I am Sal.
I'm Ethan.
And I'm Ben. Today we are continuing our Convergence coverage with Convergence number 4, but we are taking a divergence from Convergence by doing Justice League number 40, because finally some mainstay DC books came out, like Batman 40, and Superman 40, and Justice League 40, but we did Justice League, because we figured, like so many people who read Justice League, it's all the characters in one book, even though none of those characters appeared in that book.
Not a single one.
But let's kick things off with the book that people are here to watch and learn about, which is Convergence number 4, written by Jeff King and art by Steven Segovia. Continuing the story of our plucky band of wherever the hell that
People
middle
from other
Earth 2 like middle city bound refugees.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
When I was reading this book, I had a horrible vision that, like, after Convergence was done, like, these would be the cool characters that were like, well, no, this is your superhero.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're Superman. And
I was trying to figure out, like, why do we keep just seeing these same random Earth 2 characters?
These have to. We're in issue 4. These are the main characters in this book. This is the only
so
story.
far, that's all you get. Yeah.
This is all we're getting. We're not getting any crossover. No. We saw a little bit of that Batman-Catwoman fight from Catwoman Convergence that we alluded to.
Yeah.
And they were kind of like, that was stupid. Don't look at that.
But clearly, if you want to see the different eras
and
fight themselves, you've got to do the tie-ins.
You got to do the tie-ins, and I hear that that's kind of a gamble as well.
Yeah.
And of course, we know
from our experience, it's been quite a gamble. It's
proven.
I thought that's why we didn't do any of the tie-ins this week.
That's another reason.
Every time we roll the dice, it's the disaster.
Yeah, and every time someone in the comments goes, why did you pick that one? Why didn't you go with this one? I'm like, because they're interchangeable. They all look equally dumb.
No.
Or equally interesting. I was like, any of these could be cool.
Yeah.
And I don't know who's working on any of them.
Apparently it doesn't matter to read the tie-ins until you get to 2.
Yeah.
Because that's where something happens.
Right. Unlike the 2s, with number 4 of Convergence, again, it looks like nothing happens. More character building, more Dick Grayson. And Dick Grayson, actually, a lot of that happened. And so, obviously, we're going to get into spoiler territory, which is probably good for you guys, so here it comes.
While you're here.
As far as the story goes, Dick Grayson is, like, kind of turned into Telos' herald a little bit.
Yeah.
It's very Galactus Silver Surfer.
Yeah.
And I love how he's like, we could get back to the spine thing. Is Dick Grayson paralyzed? Yes.
He appears to be, yes.
But that's okay now, because he's got the goop on him.
The silver goop?
The goop gives him legs.
And it also gives him a suit.
Yeah, he gets a cool suit.
Yeah. And the Telos noted that he was the only version of Dick Grayson that didn't have a suit, and then he gave him one.
And then he gave him one. He's like, there. Now my action figure collection is complete.
All's right.
I hated civilian Dick Grayson.
Yeah, that was lame.
He's a loser.
Yeah.
He's a legless loser.
That's right.
Well, I mean, he still has the legs.
Yeah,
well,
but they're useless. You might as well not.
Yeah, you might as well just cut them off.
Yeah. Man-Bat should have eaten them.
Dick Grayson should have just died in the explosion.
Yeah. No, but you know he's going to be some obnoxious character that's going to show up like as Earth 2 is about to solve the big stupid thing. And then Dick Grayson will be like, I have to stop you for the good of my son! And they're going to be like, alright, it's going to be this stupid fight. Yeah. And that's going to be the fight you're going to get in Convergence.
I thought the entire time this Convergence was supposed to have the survivors go back to an Earth, and that was going to be the main storyline.
Yes.
No,
Apparently, they stay on Telos.
Yes.
Telos is the new world.
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
This is actually the first time it's been crystallized for me that the winners get to live on Telos.
Yeah, I think he mentioned in the last book, I think Telos said something like, I'll rebuild
the world with the surviving
with
cities, and it'll be the strong.
And I assumed it was on him.
And interestingly enough, we got to build a little bit on that theory that we had a while back that Tiffany espoused upon, which was that Telos had another game going, but it turns out Brainiac has another game going.
Yeah.
It's not just Darwinian super fights.
Right.
It's something else, which we haven't learned yet. So what do you guys think of the writing for the story? I thought it was just the same.
It's the same, yeah.
I mean, Jeff King's doing his job, and the characters are all unique and authentic and original.
I mean, he's struggling mightily to make it relevant.
And make it interesting or worth
and give the characters like something to do with each character.
Well, it seems now he's saying, well, before we were going to have everyone fight each other and other people were going to die. Now we're finally getting around to that point where, well, maybe there's a different way.
Yeah.
Right. Except they're all already, like, several cities have already been destroyed.
Yes.
Yeah, but they're ones you don't care
about.
Right,
but who cares? What do you guys think of the art for this book? Now, Ethan, you pointed out an interesting observation, which was that nearly every image is a double-page splash.
Yes. Yeah, which is cool.
Yes, but hell on a digital reader.
Yes. because like, how do I orient this thing so I can actually?
Well,
see
and like if you're using guided view, you're just getting sections of it, and then it pulls back, and you don't get to zoom in. I don't know. It's for me, you need a physical copy if you're really into Convergence. But otherwise, it's really cool. The art, I think, is really good.
Yeah, it's serviceable. I mean, it does a well job with the story, but I mean, they're not doing new things.
Oh no, it's all the same shit you've seen before.
Yeah, it's the same as the art from the previous.
Yes, and the same kind of composition of people. Like Val-Zod valiantly fights and flies at the same time, and Flash goes fast. I mean, that's
Flash is in multiple pages, multiple spots on the page,
which is fun. I love that visualization of fast characters. And Dick Grayson is made into Silver Surfer. So, at the end of the day, is Convergence number 4? I mean, I don't even think it's fair to say is Convergence number 4 worth a pickup. Should we stop reading Convergence? I mean, we're not going to, but should they stop reading?
Yeah, if I was reading it on my own, this is where I would have given up. Because like I felt like the first couple books had some promise, and then the last book was like, what? And then this book is like, it's just going in a direction that, like, I don't give a crap. It's getting more confusing, more weird.
Well, they're adding more elements to it, which
more
should
characters.
Work. Yeah.
But, like, it's taking it in a direction that's less and less interesting instead of more and more interesting.
Right. And what's interesting about that is that the characters they're introducing are more complicated and ridiculous. Yes. So it should become more interesting, because I think they think it's going to be.
Yeah.
Like, Deimos has another scheme going on.
Oh, boy.
But, like, I don't give a fuck.
And here's, like, some cavemen people who run this city. And, like, are these characters...
Are they coming with
characters?
us? Yeah.
And they're talking about different themes, like this whole red... that the
the red
feeling. Well, there's another person who was part of the red.
Yeah.
And it's that Black Cat person.
Yeah.
You're just like, okay, well, I don't know who that is, but apparently this, like, source of power is the same for all of them.
Yeah.
And
you seem to think that's important.
And the green. is also in there, and he's got control over it.
Well, it doesn't matter if there's no lantern or not. You have power, because it's a planet. And you're like, what
the fuck does that mean?
What is going on?
I don't know.
Yeah,
way to change Green Lantern.
Mystical and weird.
Yeah.
Well, he's our 2 Green Lanterns, so, like... He probably is different or something.
Yeah. Now, I was chatting on the weekly poll with Faust and the guys about this, and Faust brought up an interesting observation, which was, according to one of the writers involved in Convergence, that I won't name him because I don't want to I want to out him. But the idea was, because if you read issue 3, you'd be like, what are they doing? Mm-hmm. But apparently by issue 4, it's proven the theory, which is that, or the rumor that there's heavy editorial control over every DC book. That editorial in DC is like, no, this has to change, and this has to. You have to make sure this happens. Like, it's scrutinized to a T. It's really controlled. For me, I feel like it's out of control. It makes no sense whatsoever. It feels like there is no one at the watch. But by this issue, I'm like, oh yeah,
yes,
there is a direction, and they're like, issue 3 was almost like, oh, good, play with issue 3, and they were like, okay,
here, I do this.
They keep going,
yeah,
and they're like, okay, no. Deimos has a plan, get it going.
When we said play with it, we meant do it right our way.
Do something,
like,
but you didn't.
Forward.
So, alright, Brainiac.
Yeah.
At least Brainiac's in the book. Maybe issue 5 would be interesting, but I would you, if you were just, as a fan, buying this book, would you drop it by now?
No, I would read 5, because now that Brainiac's coming in, I feel like that's a power play against Telos, so...
But they're working together.
Are they?
But he's making a deal with
Deimos.
Deimos, who's important or something.
Yeah.
Is it the same Brainiac? Is it a different Brainiac?
Well, they're all Brainiac. Funny enough, last episode I said I was going to ignore the Deimos thing. I was sorely punished for it by this book. Where Deimos was the main character.
Yeah.
It was in fact a catalyst. He's he's integral to the Convergence itself.
Yeah, I guess.
So fuck me.
It's like this giant power play between Brainiac and Telos and him, and our characters are caught in the middle. They're just along for the ride.
Yes.
Like, it's struggling.
They're powerless.
But, like, I don't care about... I want to see the characters that, like, I'm supposed to be, like, following have an impact on events and not just, like, getting swept along.
Well, it's fascinating because you can't. Because, like, the New 52 is the prime universe with all the characters you give a shit about. Yeah. Or ought to.
Right.
But they're not in it.
They're not in it.
They're not in it.
I have a really bad observation.
Okay.
As in, like... if this is true, it's going to really piss me off. If they change it so that it's not actually Convergence and, like, people don't fight and, people can just go back to their planets, I'm going to be really pissed off. Because Convergence was set up to be this huge epic battle where all of these things are brought together and there's only going to be a certain amount of winners.
Right. We're going to clean it up.
Yeah, we're cleaning up the multiverse.
And they're like, we're going to do it. You're buying it! Oh, we didn't do it.
No, it's actually not that.
If they do that, I will be so
That
pissed
seems to
off
be where
at
they're
DC.
headed, because they're alluding now to maybe there's a way out of this.
Yeah, I know.
They've done this before.
Really pissing me off.
They've destroyed the multiverse, and then it wasn't destroyed. Shh.
Then why?
There's a lot going on. Yeah.
It's like, so you're doing another pointless exercise for us.
Yeah. It's just,
here's an event that doesn't matter.
We said it last week. They're moving to LA.
Yeah. We gotta have something going.
In the works that can, begin when they start and finish when they're done.
Exactly.
Then they can do what they actually want to do.
They gotta it's like those light timers when you go on vacation where it's 6 o'clock, the lights turn on, so burglars don't think that you're not home.
Yeah.
Like, no, there's an event. It's a summer event for DC. Can we have a comment on that? Actually, I'm out of the office right now. I'm on vacation. So
when does it end? How many issues of this?
Another month.
Another month.
So it's going to go to Convergence number 8?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we have to have all the tie-ins. The number 2s for all the tie-ins.
Okay.
Yes.
I hope to Christ they bring in
real
sooner
superheroes.
rather than later heroes that I know and care about at some point.
No, but don't you? By now you're 4 issues in. Don't you like all these characters?
I mean, they're fine,
right? But I don't care about any of their journeys.
I don't care if they live or die, though.
No, I don't. I thought they were going to kill them all with the last event, with Future's End and Earth 2 and the Apocalypse, and nope. Nope. It'll just keep going.
Do I recommend picking it up?
Keep reading it if you're reading it?
I am going to.
We're all going to read it.
Yeah,
we're all going to read
a choice.
But I would if I had a choice.
You would keep reading. You'd at least stay until
just because I'm really pissed off right now, and I'm hoping that DC's going to make it better.
Well, yeah,
I have the sneaking suspicion.
Spoiler alert, they're not.
Yeah, they have a pretty good track record for not doing that. So.
Yeah, but, he's going to keep reading it. I cannot recommend, nor would I keep reading it if I was not doing it.
Right, yeah.
I'd bail out.
I don't know Jeff King's writing too well, so I feel like he could pull a hat trick. Do I expect him to? No. That said, we're going to keep reading it. So I'll leave it to you, dear watcher. So all right, we've had enough of Convergence, but we're not done with DC yet, because we're going to transition over to New 52, which they're going to drop after Convergence. They're not going to call it the New 52 anymore.
Okay.
Is it just going to be 52?
No, that was a book. That was a series that they did. But they love that number, so you bet your boots it'll come back. Yeah. But in the meantime, no, it's just the regular universe. So, Justice League, let's get into that.
All right.
And so rolling into the New 52 and the story that has been going on and leading up to another huge event that will take place in the New 52, the Darkseid War, which is written by Jeff Johns, and it's got a whole bunch of people on art, so I'm going to... Jeff Johns! So I'm going to just read it, because I don't want to remember them all. It's Kevin Maguire, Dan Jurgens, Scott Collins, Jim Lee, Jason Fabok, Jerry Ordway, Phil Jimenez. Alright, so we're setting up another event in the middle of a huge universe-spanning event.
Yeah, right. And when does this occur?
This takes place now in the New 52, because remember, New 52 has nothing to do...
Is happening?
On the New 52? No.
It hasn't happened yet.
It's happening now. Everything you're seeing now is happening now.
When will then be now?
Soon.
So while Convergence is occurring, we've got these... I guess that makes sense, because no one from the Justice League is actually in this.
No, it's true. Justice League number 40 features 0 members of the Justice League.
Yes.
But it does feature a lot of fun Kirby characters, like Metron and Darkseid and the Anti-Monitor. Yeah. And for 2 laymen's, that, I'm sure, was a lot of fun to try and decipher.
It was a lot of confusing...
But you did look it up.
I did look up after the fact.
Now...
Because they said something that triggered something that I remember you saying, and I was like, well, maybe I could piece this together.
Yes, because it does allude to all the crises of the DC Universe.
Yeah, and I knew it was doing that.
Yeah, which we're heading to.
Showed it clearly.
Right, yeah. And we're heading to another... I mean, like, the theory is, and Joel from ComicPOP was like, have you read Justice League 40? Because holy fuck. And I'm like, no. So then we did, and I'm like, okay. We're getting another crisis.
Right, but they're saying it's like there's not going to be any more crises.
Well,
right? Like this is the last crisis because the world can't take anymore.
Well, no, that's just it. If there was another crisis, everything would explode. Right. So we have to prevent
another crisis. Yeah,
right.
You know what? That's a crisis. So yeah, I think the book looked awesome, and it alluded to all the crises. So like you're looking at them all.
Yeah. Those pictures were really nice.
Yes, and they did a really nice job of capturing them all and like getting the feeling of just this whirlwind of color that's happening. That said, let's get into the writing of Justice League number 40. I mean, like...
I don't care.
Yeah.
Is it bad that I just don't care?
No, because, like, some folk like to read stories about superheroes being superheroes, and some folk want to read about the universe and like characters' place in it and how they can change it and mold it. And I'm sure this is a great like life preserver for a lot of people who are just like, okay, clearly Convergence is not going to change the New 52,
right?
But maybe this will.
Right.
That said, it won't. Sorry, they are too invested in it. It's not going to change. But I bet it'll be a lot of epic stuff that happens in the story that will lead up to the Darkseid War.
So great.
Yeah.
So, okay, here's my problem with this book and similar books.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of books that have it, like Marvel Cosmic books also have this problem to some extent. When you've got all these characters that are super uber powerful, but it's kind of vague, like what their powers and abilities are, it's like, there's no stakes. Because anyone is just, I'm more powerful than you, so I'm going to win.
Or they're not, or they are, or they think they are, or they pull a special like move that you never saw before.
Right. Or you have a character who can create and destroy universes. Like, but he's just talking like a normal dude about like people and events from the past.
Right, like why would that affect him? If you have the powers of a god or greater than a god.
Yeah, like why are you even talking to this guy?
Yeah.
Like, it's just, it makes no sense. And I guess maybe that's what it's like for someone who'd never heard like the stories of like the Greek gods. They'd be like, well, wait a minute, what are you talking about? They, how could they ever be defeated? Like, where's their tension if they're so powerful?
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I don't like the fact that there are some people that are so powerful they can't do anything. I'm too powerful, so I've decided to stay out of this and just watch.
It's kind of like a sequel to the first story arc for the Justice League, where Darkseid shows up out of nowhere, and the superheroes are brought together to defeat him, and they just push him in a boom tube, and that's it.
Okay.
Now Darkseid's like, okay, I'm planning my next move here,
right?
And
I've got boom tube safety already covered.
Yeah, and not getting pushed into a boom tube is step one. It's priority one.
I've gotten rid of the boom tubes.
Priority two is not getting stabbed in the eye.
So, okay, Darkseid in New 52 was pushed into a boom tube, he went away.
Yeah. He just went home. He just went to the apocalypse.
And he stopped.
Yeah.
Now we've got characters one of whom, the Anti-Monitor, can destroy. So
I didn't even know that he was still in the New 52 because like the Anti-Monitor is crucial to Crisis on Infinite Earths and Final Crisis.
Okay.
And the universe itself is like it turns inside out.
Right. And Darkseid was caught up in that.
Yeah, well, Darkseid is
Darkseid's all new.
Yeah, this is a new Darkseid.
That's
right.
So, like, that would imply that, like, well...
Does he remember? Is he, like, the same Darkseid? I don't know.
Because he's one of the new gods, too, right?
Yeah.
So these other two characters in this book exist kind of outside of that remaking of the world that brought about New 52. Does Darkseid also? He's one of their peers.
He, like, transcends it. I don't know if he necessarily exists outside of it.
But the Anti-Monitor and Metron don't.
The Anti-Monitor and the Metron are outside of New 52.
Yeah. Like, they're the same ones that there were before New 52.
I guess. I mean, I assume they are.
Because they know about all the other crises.
Yes, they're aware of the unit. They even reference Flashpoint, which they usually don't. Like, they reference it in as much as, wasn't that cool? Wonder Woman and Aquaman were fighting. But they also don't go like, hey, remember Flashpoint? Is there any way, Barry, you could go and undo that shit? They don't do... They're very careful not to mention it. But yeah, it's the first time where characters are like, no, shit changed.
Yeah.
Like, and it could change back. And so, yes. And that's been really interesting, especially interesting for Jeff Johns to address it. Because he's one of the architects of the New 52. So it's kind of like, why would you leave the door open to undo all these changes you've made? Cake toppers have the new Superman costume, for God's sake. Cake toppers!
Yeah.
They're not going back now!
They're all in, man.
Yeah.
And
they could.
Superman,
I don't know.
Superman has a new costume and new powers.
One of the things they said in this book was like, you can't keep doing these crises. So
yes.
It's like, all right, so you're gonna. So then that would imply that you're not gonna make.
Well, and that's funny because
you just said you can't keep doing this.
And I guess this might
be...
No.
It's not that they can't. It's the fact that the way they're going, whatever that would do would undo it. But I mean, maybe if we have a crisis in a different way, it'll be fine.
No, I bet
this is the last time.
I bet that they're not gonna have a crisis. I bet it's a bait and switch. And my thinking is, this is their way of telling fans to sit down and shut up.
Yep.
They're like, no, you don't understand. Metron and the Anti-Monitor says that there can't be any more crises.
Right.
So stop.
It's New 52.
Yeah, no, you thought Convergence was going to undo it? It's not. And the Anti-Monitor shows up, and he says no more. We made cake topper Supermans with his stupid red belt.
I don't care how much you hate New 52.
I don't care if you don't like
Just
it.
take your medicine.
Listen, they're $4 a piece.
If you want a Batman or a Superman story, you're gonna buy these, because there are any more.
Yeah.
That's it.
And we don't care about Booster Gold, so we'll just have whoever write it. Dan Jurgens can have Booster Gold. And he can, want to have the New 52 go away. But he won't, okay? That's the point, is that it's not going anywhere. Okay? And we're doing this issue as an all-cosmic way of legitimizing our decision and finalizing it. I don't believe we have to finalize it, but apparently we do, because every time I go to a convention, one of you fuckers stands up during my panels, and you go, when are we getting the old 52 back? Well, we're not, okay? Because Darkseid says there's no more crises. Can we recommend this book?
No.
I think for cosmic fans...
Yes.
It's going to be great. You're going to love it. And it sets up this Darkseid War.
Yeah.
This is one of the first, for me, mainstream... I mean, it's a Justice League, for God's sake. This could have been anything. This could have been Darkseid War number 0. Mm-hmm. But they didn't do that. They put it in Justice League number 40. They were like, all that shit you liked, or all that shit that, we would like to say only a tenth of the percentage of our population likes, happened. And we know you want it. And this is the closest you're going to get to. Now, the DC people have said that they're doing away with continuity.
Yes.
So this could actually be setting up the new status quo where you could get everything you want. You could have your cake and eat it too. You could have a pre-Flashpoint universe and a post-Crisis universe and a New 52 universe. And we're not calling them anything. Or maybe they'll get rid of the New 52 brand and they'll put the brand of the shit you like on the cover of the stories that you want to read.
That would be cool.
And then the Darkseid War is ushering in that era. Kind of like how Infinite Crisis ushered in the return of the multiverse.
Right.
Darkseid War will usher in the return of everything you want.
Right.
And it's and if it doesn't sell, it's your fault. Because if
you said you wanted it.
You said you wanted real Superman.
You said you wanted more Kingdom Come.
You said you wanted more Kingdom Come. Prove it.
Yeah.
You said you wanted to see Batman with his underwear on the outside of his pants. Well, prove it.
Right.
Justice League number 40, Darkseid War, prelude.
Yeah.
Nothing much happens.
I'm not on board for this.
If you want to know what's going to be going on,
in the
you
next
have to read it.
You got to get in it.
If you don't give a shit and you just want to wait until the dust settles, don't bother.
Yeah, if you want to see Chappie Batman, then don't read this book and just read Batman number 41. Mm-hmm. If you want to see what happens if you want to see what effect Superboy Prime is going to have on the New 52, then definitely pick up this issue because he appears. So yeah, there you go. Thanks so much for watching, everybody, and don't forget to so there you go. Hey, thanks for stopping by, everybody. This is Off the Rack, and we'll see you guys next week with more Convergence coverage. And coming up very shortly, we're going to roll into the Secret Wars. Ooh. And we're going to be covering Secret Wars and select tie-ins for Secret Wars.
Man, because that works so well for Convergence.
I know, but inversely, by the way, Convergence has tight editorial control. With Secret Wars, fuck it. What do you want? I'm thinking Avengers in the Old West? Done! What do you want? Married Spider-Man? Enjoy! Okay, don't tell anybody. What do you want? Just a whole book where a Man-Thing is in charge. Done! If it sells, we'll print it. I don't care.
We're Marvel!
Yeah! If it sells, we'll print it.
So what's going to be the main storyline?
The main storyline is in Secret Wars. But then there's also Secret Wars Battle World.
Right.
But it's all on Battle World.
Yeah.
So Secret Wars, the main book, will be about, the universe being, fucked. And remade.
Who's going to be the main characters?
No one. Because everyone's the main character.